Well, I think we're at 5 minutes into the welcome, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm just going to say I'm Ariella, and we'll do some full introductions. But I'm going to start off with Krista, who's the director of High Trail. So take it away, Krista.
Hello, everyone. My name is Krista, she, her, and I'm the director here at High Trails. And I will tell you a little bit about me. And also, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Zoom in case many of us have done more Zooms lately than we have wanted to. But if it's been a little while, today we'll be talking and sharing the screen. So it might be helpful for you to put your Zoom into speaker view. And that way you'll have like the biggest view of whoever is talking. But also, I'm really enjoying this gallery view, which means you can see everyone's little faces. And so you're welcome whichever way you prefer, but we'll also be sharing a couple of videos and some photos as well. Please use the chat and chat us your questions. Me, Jenny, and Oliver will be typing some responses as well as verbalizing some of those questions as we go along and towards the end. And we are just so excited that you are all here. I am so excited for summer. I too have had so much snow. I live in the Denver area, and we've had so much snow today that my husband shoveled once this morning, and then I shoveled after work today. So lots and lots of snow, but my dog Miles, who is snoozing in the background, loves it and loves to make doggy snow angels. So that's a little bit about me. And next, I'm going to hand it over to my good friend, Oliver.
Hello. Thank you, Krista. Hi, everybody. My name is Oliver. I'm the director at Big Spring Ranch, and extremely excited about this summer. Cannot wait. I guess to keep on the theme, I have a silver lab. He just turned 2, and he as well was not necessarily making snow angels, but just kind of rolling around the snow today, making as much mess as he could. And so I'm excited to get into this presentation about packing and traveling and laundry and all that. And more so excited to get everyone out here and to see everyone's faces in person. And I'll pass it over to Jenny.
Hey everyone, my name is Jenny, and I am the office administrator and also travel coordinator. And I also will be at the barn a lot this summer. So I enjoy the horses, and I also have a dog who enjoys the snow, and her name is Bella, and she was hanging out outside a lot today. And I will be one of the people at the airport if any of you guys are going to be traveling through DIA on your way to camp. And now I'll pass it back to Ariella.
Hello, friends. I'm Ariella Rogge, and I am the director of Sanborn Western Camps. And it is so fun to see everybody's faces and all the names, and Annabelle and the Olney sisters. It's super fun to see everybody on screen and getting excited about summer, especially on a day that is so snowy. I am an anomaly, and we do not currently have a dog. We have a really reticent cat. The cat did not want to go outside today, shocking. And so all he has done is wander around the house going, meow, meow, because he does not care for the snow. So we're going to get excited and talk about some travel and packing for camp, and then answer any questions that you all might have. So I'm going to tag Krista back, and she will go over some packing list 101.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ariella. So yes, in a minute, but not yet, Jenny is going to share a screenshot of our packing list. And that comes from our Getting Ready guide, which Jenny also helps mail to all of our families, that has a ton of really great information and a lot of the things that we will be talking about today. And one thing that you'll notice about the packing list is that we've divided it into our Sanborn Junior Camper packing list for those campers who come for 2 weeks. And then also we have a month-long packing list. And it just helps you to look at the differences and kind of think about when you're staying for a month and doing the trips and programs that are involved in our month-long program versus packing a little bit smaller when you are in our Sanborn Junior program. There is a code of little triangles and asterisks And those talk about the things at camp that you can rent when you come to camp. And those things include you can rent sleeping bags, you can rent linens, you can rent horseback riding boots, and other things that you can rent include backpacking backpacks. And you'll notice again, the difference between the month-long program and the junior program is that because those junior programs are our youngest campers in camp, and they are often trying some of these activities for the first time, you do not have to rent or purchase a backpack in that junior program. We provide that backpacks and sleeping bags for all of our junior campers so that you can sort of test it out and see. And then as you grow and grow into that month-long program, then you'll know a little bit more about the type of sleeping bag you want or the type of backpack that you want as well. Awesome. Oh, and another thing. Yes, another thing that you need to bring to camp, or that's definitely, it's in the optional pile, but you might spot a couple of mine behind me, equal costumes. Costumes are always fun to bring to camp. So I've got a witch's hat and a pair of fairy wings that I always bring to camp with me. And if you have any other like small packable costumes, like wings or wands or onesies are also very fun and popular. You can always toss in a couple of those because there will be some sort of celebration or event that you can pretty much wear any costume to at camp. So those are definitely one of my favorite parts of camp and packing for camp is picking out which costumes I'm going to bring as well. Totally. And now Jenny is going to share a couple of photos and talk with us about, so when packing for camp and looking at this packing list, you are kind of thinking about what program you're in and what cabin or cabin style you'll be in at camp, because we have different styles of cabins based on where you are in your age group. And so that helps you in thinking about what to pack and what to pack your stuff in coming to camp. Jenny?
Thanks, Krista. So I am going to go ahead and share this screen with you. And we're going to start talking about high trails and what it looks like in the cabins at high trails. And then I will hand it over to Oliver, who will share a little bit more about what it looks like at Big Spring. So we're going to start here with one of the high trails cabins. And you'll notice that each of the girls will be able to have their own bunk bed within the cabins. Generally speaking, we'll have 9 girls on a cabin side. So there's 2 sides to a cabin, an east and a west. And then in the middle of those cabins, we have a living room and a bathroom that's shared. And each of the girls, so this is the front porch. Sorry, this is the front porch of a cabin side. And you can notice that a lot of times outside, we will keep our shoes because that's a great space. It's a covered porch. And inside, every girl has their own locker. And we're going to look at some of these photos inside the lockers. And because they have lockers to put their things in, they actually can keep their suitcases and luggage in a luggage tent. So this is a picture of the luggage tent right now. Yes, there's snow on it. In the summertime, we're going to have a big green tent going over top of this wooden frame. So all of the luggage will be safe and secure from anything such as rain or hail or anything like that. And we will keep all of the suitcases in those luggage tents outside of the cabins. This is inside of one of the younger cabins. So this would be inside of Juniper, where our juniors are staying. Ponderosa also looks very similar, where each girl has their own locker. And when we open these lockers up, you'll notice that we have multiple shelves on the top part. There's a spot to hang some clothes on the bottom, and then also some little cubby hole spots on the side for things like extra shoes or accessories. And so here's just another view of what inside of this locker space looks like for the youngest kids at High Trails. And the goal really is to be able to fit all of the campers' items inside of this locker so that they're not strewn about the cabin. And this is in one of the cabins for a bit older girls. And so you can see that it is very, very similar and that every girl has their own locker. And inside, the configuration is just a little bit different because there's a little bit more hanging space and less shelf space. But you'll see that there's still 2 shelves above the hanger. And then you can also place some items on the very top of the locker, such as the backpacking backpacks, some of those bigger items. And if you're wanting to have more drawer space, sometimes girls will bring those drawers that are smaller that you might find like in a bathroom or a dorm room to stick on the bottom of that locker space. So just here's another example of that. And then this is the living room. So you'll notice there's a fireplace and each cabin side has a door that accesses the living room area. This is just one of those fun spa night sleepovers in the living room. And then again, here is a front porch picture. So you'll notice that it is a covered porch and the girls can keep their shoes on the front porch. And so now I will pass it on to Oliver. And Oliver, while you talk, I'm going to go ahead and share some more pictures of Big Spring. And so we'll start with, do you want to start with the cabins?
Let's start with, yeah, we'll work our way up. Let's start with the cabins.
So cabin, then tent.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny. And so unlike High Trails, depending on the age group, we do have 3 different living styles. And so if you are in the junior camp, it is very much so like High Trails, where we do have 2 cabins for the juniors at the boys camp. Just like High Trails, we do, have covered porches. We ask that shoes stay on the porch, but every camper is going to receive their own locker as well. And so, just, as Jenny said, we do, and we'll get into this in a second, we do have laundry quite a bit. And so we do, everything that is brought to camp, should be able to fit into those lockers. And that's really the junior camp is living in those cabins and, enjoying those spaces kind of in the same way that High Trails does with their camps. And then moving on to our 3rd through 5th graders, if you're in the month-long program, we live in yurts. And the yurts are much larger than the cabins. They are kind of that first step into outdoor living. And these, excuse me, these are, that's a great picture. And so in terms of, bringing luggage, these are, preferably just because of space, we ask that people kind of bring duffel bags, larger suitcases that can fit under the bed so they're not swamped with trunks. That being said, we also we'll have hooks available for the sides. As you can see, there's kind of those like X's on the side, and we'll have hooks available to hang backpacks and hang extra items to kind of take them out of that center living area. And just like all the other cabins, there also is a little bit of space underneath, especially in here for those duffel bags, those smaller bags as well. Moving on to the tents, if you're in 6th grade through 10th grade, you will be in a platform tent that has electricity. It is a rustic chic vibe. It is a very, everyone does really love living in these tents. And so 5 to 6 beds in each tent. And these beds are tall enough that, they can fit a trunk under it. But, everybody's living area really is their own living area. And so we do ask that, again, people really take a look at that packing list and not necessarily minimize what they bring, but really be conscious and intentional of the items that they're bringing to camp so they can, fit and not kind of explode out of the cabin or out of the tent. The one thing that is a little bit different at Big Spring with the yurts and the tents on those ridges is our wash houses. And so we do not have, showers and all that inside of our tents or inside of our yurts, but we do have wash houses on every ridge for every camper to use. And so bringing a shower caddy is a really great idea. We do have cabinets in those wash houses for those smellables, those, toothbrush, toothpaste, all those things. Towels can stay in the tent, but we do like to kind of keep the smelly items out of the tent, in terms of wildlife and stuff like that. But we do have cubbies and stuff that are in the wash houses. And that is a great segue into laundry, Krista, if you wanna take it away.
Yes, I love talking about laundry and laundry at camp. I feel like we are so fortunate at camp that we have a wonderful group of humans who work with us to help get all of the campers and staff's laundry done during camp. And laundry goes out about every other day during the summer camp session. And we have laundry sacks that your dirty laundry goes into, and at High Trails, you place those laundry bags on your front porch, and the wonderful, magical laundry humans drive by in their majestic steed, a big red van, and they pick up these laundry sacks and whisk them away to laundry. And then at the end of the day, typically, that laundry is back, washed, clean, dried, and ready for your next wear or your next adventure. And yes, and oftentimes your socks are matched and your things are folded, and it's really nice, and a service that I wish I had all year long, but only during summer and the summer camp time. And once again, because we have those big cover porches, you're able to put that laundry out. And it's slightly different at Big Spring. Ollie, you want to tell them a little bit more about how we handle laundry at Big Spring?
I would love to. And so we do use the same wonderful magical laundresses as High Trails. And again, it is every other day, and that's to minimize the amount of laundry that's being done, but also because we're going on so many trips, we often want to bring the same types of items on those trips. And so this gives us that ability to do so. And we do have laundry huts on every single ridge and on every cabin as well. And so it's very important to, when the biggest thing I can stress about laundry is with the frequency that it goes out, as it comes in, to take it out of that bag and redisperse it into like as clean laundry as a unit together. And then I think the biggest thing about laundry, I want to pass over to Jenny, which goes deeper into labeling and making sure that your names are on everything, because things can definitely get lost in translation.
Thanks, Oliver. And so I see one question in the chat saying, should kids bring their own laundry bags? And the answer to that is no, because what we do is we have color-coded laundry bags that go along with each tent or cabin. And our laundresses know that. And what they will do is they will take, say, Juniper is one of the cabins at High Trails. They will take all of Juniper's laundry, and that's Juniper East and Juniper West. So that's like 18 girls plus their counselors. All of their laundry is going into their color-coded laundry bags, maybe their blue bags. And so they might have 4 bags on their porch for Juniper, and the laundresses will do all of Juniper's laundry together. Then they will fold that laundry and put it back in clean laundry bags to give back to that cabin. And so that being said, that laundry is all mixed together. So you might have Susie's socks and Emily's socks, and they look almost identical. And the way that we figure this out and the way that we can sort laundry as best as we can is by having that laundry labeled. And so if you can have a first name and a last name on every piece of laundry, so every sock, every shirt, every piece of underwear, it helps us out so much. The counselors will be so thankful, because when they go through and they sort all of the laundry and create a pile for Joey and Sam and Alexander, each kid gets their pile of laundry back, and it actually belongs to that kid. And we know that because it has their name in it. And so that is something that's so helpful to us, is to have names on every item of clothing. And We're about to segue into travel, but we have a fun travel themed laundry video that Krista is going to show us.
Yes, let me share my screen.
Hello everyone, and thank you for your attention. It's time to get you ready for camp. And before we get started, we have some important information for you about laundry. Now if you'll just follow along with me, we'll be on our way. Laundry at camp gets picked up every other day. So before we load these bags, here are some important laundry instructions. First things first, please be sure to review the packing list in our Getting Ready guide. Did you know that not every item of clothing has to be washed after every wear? Things like mittens, winter coats, hats, and rain jackets. Now it's time to load up these laundry bags. Pants, socks, and other bulky items should be unscrunched for maximum cleaning. And remember, pockets should be checked for unexpected treasures. Clean laundry should always be removed before placing dirty laundry in the bag. Please be sure to buckle all bra straps and other hooked items to avoid unintended snags or rips. Insert the hooks into the eye portion and pull snugly. For extra safety of those delicate items, we recommend a super fine mesh bag. Because all items sent to the laundry are washed and dried in our industrial machines, some items could be damaged if they are accidentally sent to the laundry. Occasionally, items get separated from the group. For that reason, we recommend labeling all clothing for campers young and old. If you need any assistance or have any concerns, please let a counselor know. From all of us here at Sanborn Western Camps, we thank you for using Clean Karma Camp Laundry.
Awesome. So we consulted many parents in the creation of that important safety video, and feel free to share that for your home laundry needs as well, especially emptying out your pockets and unscrunching scrunched up clothing items. Okay. And now on to our section talking about travel. So we've talked a little bit about packing for camp, and now we're talking about how you get to camp. And there are many different ways that you can get to camp. And the first one is just driving. If you are driving distance and driving to camp, you are what we call a car camper or a car drop off. And so what we like to encourage of our car drop-offs is to remember all of the things that we were just talking about. And so just because you can pack in your car every single potential item or costume that you could possibly bring, we ask that you do please keep in mind that space that's your personal space in your yurt or your tent or your cabin, and that you don't want to overpack because you have the ability to. We want to make sure that you don't overpack when coming to camp. So car travel, we will be releasing a travel form, and it will look very similar to last summer, where we will be able to let you pick a window of time for arriving at camp. So you can kind of judge if you're a get there first thing in the morning kind of person, or if you're like, ooh, I am driving from Denver, and so we will leave first thing thing in the morning and be there a few hours later, maybe mid-morning, early afternoon. And so we will release a form that you can let us know how you plan on arriving at camp, and if you're arriving by car. We liked this staggered drop-off time for our car campers because what we found is it lessened your wait time and really led to a really smooth check-in process. And so when you come to camp and you are checking in and dropping off, I will be there to welcome you, and all of our counselors will be there, and all of our Ridge leaders and director team, and they will help kind of direct the traffic in a nice flow where we check in, say hello. Parents will have a chance to meet our nursing staff and drop off any medications, vitamins, anything like that. You check those in with the nurses, as well as all of our campers get to meet the nurses and say hello and do a brief health check-in as you come in. And then your cars get to carry on their way and drive down the ridges at high trails to the cabins, where your counselors will be waiting there to say hello and help you unload those cars and get you moved into the cabin. Oliver, you want to talk a little bit about the flow of car campers at Big Spring?
Yes, of course. It's really essentially the same thing. I think in cars we tend to fit a lot in cars, right? And so we want to make sure that based on the pictures that we were showing, and we're happy to talk more extensively over the phone to make sure that we are good to go when it comes to how much stuff you're bringing. And so we're pretty much modeling high trails there in terms of how much stuff to bring and making sure it fits in those cabinets, and in terms of the yurts and those duffel bags under the beds and on those hooks, and with tents in those trunks or duffel bags under the beds. Do want to plug in and add that shipping is a great option as well when it comes to luggage, and being able to you're able to ship all the luggage to camp in a box. We'll store the box away, and then we'll ship it back in the same box. And we do insure items for $900 as well. And that's something that Jenny is happy to speak to anybody about and make sure that you're all squared away on that end. And Jenny, I think, airport wise, you're the airport guru. Take it away.
Thanks, Oliver. So yes, we do have a very large number of campers who choose to fly to camp. And we also have a lot of campers who fly to camp themselves without their parents. And we have a really, really intricate process of how we do that. And so we have 2 airports in Colorado. The first one is DIA, which is in Denver International Airport. That airport is about 2.5 hours away from camp. However, it is the largest airport in Colorado. It's an international airport. Oftentimes flights are a little bit cheaper going in and out of DIA. And it also tends to be a little bit easier to get direct flights into DIA, which is usually of high importance if a kid is flying by themselves. Colorado Springs Airport is about an hour away from camp. And the Colorado Springs Airport is starting to get a lot more direct flights and a lot more affordable flights as well. So we will pick up campers from either Denver or Colorado Springs. The preferred time for flights is anytime between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And the reason for that on both opening and closing day is really because even if we say that we don't want flights going out before 10 a.m., we still have charter buses that will need to leave camp by 2:30 in the morning to make sure that we get to the airport in time to unload all the kids, have a bathroom break, check in, do all the things that need to happen before they need to go through security and get their flight. And so that's why we really, really stress that we want those flight times to be between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. so that we're all getting to the airport around the same time. And then also, especially on opening day, we want the kids to be back at camp in time for dinner. And so if we have a charter bus leaving the Denver airport at 2:30, it's going to arrive in time for dinner. But if we have campers that arrive a little bit later, They might be late and we'll save a plate for them, but we'd prefer for them to be able to join in all that camp fun with everyone else. And so a few more things about the airport. We meet campers at their gates. And so it doesn't matter if your child is a 7-year-old unaccompanied minor or they're 17 and they're a JC or an Outbacker. It does not matter what age they are, unaccompanied or not. We will meet every single child at their gate as they're walking off the airplane, and they will never be alone in the airport. And we will meet each kid as they're walking off the plane in a bright orange t-shirt that says Sanborn Western Camps Airport Crew. And we have a whole bunch of staff with us. And so that's the thing we want to make sure that all of the campers know is who to look out for at the airport, because they might not know the face of what the counselor looks like or their name yet. But if they're wearing that bright orange t-shirt, they know that they are a Sanborn staff member and they're a safe person to be with. And so along with that, we do have some airlines that are more preferred if you guys are choosing which flights to book. Specifically, Southwest Airlines is an airline that we have a really great relationship with, and they have been so helpful in helping us obtain those gate passes to go pick up kids who are not unaccompanied minors and allowing us to get through security, even though we don't have an unaccompanied minor that we're picking up. So that's one reason why we really prefer Southwest. The other reason is for packing, because they allow 2 free checked bags. And so that is just super helpful by itself. And then if you guys are going to choose airlines where you need to pay for baggage, or you do have an unaccompanied minor fee that needs to be paid, we would really prefer it if you could try to get those paid before the campers fly home. And that's because we try to go with every kid, or we do go with every kid to check them in. And it's a lot easier and smoother of a check-in process if the attendant can say, oh yes, everything's paid, let me just print off the boarding pass for you, as opposed to having to go through the whole process. It just speeds things up a little bit quicker for us. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we do have charter buses that will take campers from DIA to Sanborn on opening day, and then from Sanborn to DIA on closing day. And then we will also have camp vans that we will use to take campers to Colorado Springs. So we will transport them to and from the airport. Again, kids will never, ever be without a counselor the entire time. And one thing that is incredibly important is if you guys are going to have flights that might change. I know sometimes airlines will just email you and be like, hey, your flight changed by an hour or even 30 minutes, or now it's at a completely different time. That is so important for me to know, because if we have, say, 100 kids coming through DIA, we want to make sure we know where every kid is, which gate they're flying into, what time they're flying in, and it helps us out a lot if you can provide us the correct and most accurate information possible, so that we can be there for your campers. And we do have a travel form where all of that information can go. And on March 7th is when we're going to be going over the forms Zoom. So if you need a little bit more information on that, please join that Zoom. And if you have any questions about travel, just give us a call at the office and I'd be happy to answer any questions for you, or you can email as well. And now we'll open it up to if anybody has any questions about anything.
I'm just gonna hop in, Jenny, and just kind of share that one of the parts of our packing and our travel conversation is also the unpacking of maybe feeling a little bit nervous about coming to camp. And so I'm seeing a little trend. And Olivia and I have been having this offline convo about how normal it is to be nervous about coming to camp for the first time, and how normal it is to feel a little like worried about being homesick. And sometimes we talk to both parents and campers about the fact that being homesick is normal. And sometimes when you send that sad letter home, it's actually really healthy too, because you get to kind of get some of those emotions out and you write it down on paper and you send it off to your parents or to your guardians, and then they get in there like, oh no. And at this point, you're like having fun, you're riding horses, and you're having a ball at camp. And so then, and then Kate calls me. Kate King picks up the phone and she's like, hey, she's like, just got a quick question about Bridger. Just got a little letter. And we say, you know what? He's out there, he's riding horses. He just came back from his river all day. He's been having a ball at camp. And one of the things we get to do at camp is we get to help people who are nervous about being away from home for a while, kind of get through that. It's normal to miss home. I miss home when I'm away from home. I'm going to Orlando next week with all these crazy people for a national conference, and I'm going to miss my kids. I'm also going to miss some basketball games, but that's okay because I know they're good, and I know when I get back, I'm going to get to hear all sorts of stories. And I think that's one of the things when you're at camp, you are a story collector, and so you're getting all these experiences that no one else in your family is having. And so you're putting all these stories and all these things in your pockets, but not that are going into the laundry, but you're putting all these things in good places. And then you take them home and you get to share all of these amazing experiences of learning and growth that you've had at camp. And yeah, there are going to be days when I kind of miss my mom. And I kind of wish the spaghetti sauce was like the spaghetti sauce at my house. But at the same time, you're still going to eat the spaghetti, and your mom's going to still send you an email through our one-way email system, so you get to hear from her every day. So there are going to be all these different cool experiences that you get to have at camp. And when you're feeling sad, Krista, myself, Oliver, Jenny, your counselors, the High Trails team, the Big Spring team, all of the supportive adults in our space will be there for you. And so that's the one thing I want everybody on this call to know, is that you are our most important person in those moments where things are feeling hard. And we've got you, and we will be there to help you get through those. Because we aren't gonna take away how you're feeling, but we are gonna help you get through those emotional waves.
Thanks, Ariella. Beautifully said. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay. So, does anyone have any final questions? Anything else that we can answer for you? As well as Ollie is going to type into the chat all of our email addresses real quick so that you can reach us. And so it's Krista at SanbornWesternCamps.com, Jenny at SanbornWesternCamps.com, Ariella at SanbornWesternCamps.com, and Oliver at SanbornWesternCamps.com. So please reach out. I always say in phone calls and on Zoom meetings like this that you think of your best questions right after getting off, or maybe as you're going to bed tonight, you're like, I should have asked that question. So reach out. We're happy to chat with you and answer questions that you have. And I see a question in the chat, does it matter if our sleeping bag isn't mummy style, I think is what you mean to say. Yeah, totally. And so I will say on sleeping bags, it is, mummy styles are nice, and sleeping bags that are made for backpacking are preferred because you're taking them backpacking when you're using those sleeping bags. And when I first started going to summer camp as a junior, I showed up to camp with a sleeping bag that was this big when you rolled it up. It was bigger than me, and I had to carry it to my overnight this big. So if you have the option of getting a sleeping bag that compresses and that is easier to fit inside your backpack, it is a lot better. And like we said, we can help out with those items. Either we have like the rental program, and if you are a junior, we can help as well. And we have junior size. We have all various sizes and shapes of sleeping bags. Yes. Great. Oh, I see we're getting some really great questions in. Let's see what we got here.
And yeah, Stuart, in terms of large duffels, I'm gonna throw that over to Oliver for living in stew. I think those duffels, underbed duffels, will work quite well. I'd just thrown in the chat earlier, when my boys have come to camp, I've done like the kind of underbed plastic Rubbermaid totes. And usually, you know, the beds can support like 3 or 4 of those. You know, not the giant ones, but you know, sort of the lower narrow. I mean, I think they're called underbed Rubbermaid. Some of them have wheels, some of them are just flat. And that's what I've packed Karsten in the past. And so that's helped. Obviously I drive, but I think duffels would be the same model. Oliver, do you have anything to add on that one?
No, I'm going to echo exactly what you just said. Whether it's a trunk or a duffel, those beds will be able to fit both of those under there.
Yeah. Amira, is that you? You can unmute if you have a question you want to say. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So ask a question.
I'm going to. So since it's gonna be my first time at camp this time, like I've only went to like one camp before, and I've only went for like how many days? One day in a row, and it wasn't overnight. So I'm really excited, but I'm a little nervous. But I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen. And also, yeah, do we need to bring masks?
Oh, that is a great question. And the answer is, Ariella, that I don't think so. The way that things currently are, of course, the world is ever changing, but this past summer and this summer coming up, we're planning on carrying forward and not having to wear masks at camp.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Great question.
Cool.
Good to see you. And yep, feel free to, send me an email with any other questions you have, Amira, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, Eden, yes. Bring sunscreen and put your name on it. The state of Colorado is a funny place. And when they come and do our annual inspection during the summer, they want to make sure you're not using someone else's sunscreen. Apparently you can use someone else's toothpaste, toothbrush, maybe, I don't know, like shampoo, but they really care about sunscreen. So make sure you put your name on all of your toiletries, so that way you know they're yours. And then a couple other questions. We do have riding helmets, and so if you want to bring your own, I think Jenny, what would you say? You're welcome to.
Absolutely.
But then it's just one more thing to pack and does take up a fair amount of space. We do provide riding helmets that are sanitized in between riders' uses. Portable fan, you're certainly welcome to bring a portable fan. Again, you know, the cabins and obviously the tents are very, very airy. There's a lot of airflow in our at Big Spring, but in the cabins, you know, we have good windows, good circulation. In fact, oftentimes, you know, it gets pretty cool at night. So sometimes we'll keep the windows cracked, just a bit for that airflow, but also it can get kind of cold. We have, I'm sorry, boys, we have central heating at High Trails.
We got all the blankets
Yes,
in the world that we need.
Patricia, what's your other question?
Okay, this probably will be a no. But when we do the horses after like the camp's over, can I keep one of the horses?
Jenny?
While everyone would love to keep their own horse, the horses have such a great life at Sanborn, and then you can come back summer after summer after summer and keep riding those horses.
I'm connected to horses sometimes.
Take a look at our goats, though. We got some goats then. Who knows?
There was a question about pajamas, and again, I don't know if that answers it. It kind of just depends on the day and the time. You know, some nights it's you can pull off the flannels, and some nights it's you know, kind of the shorts and t-shirt type jammy situation. So bring you know, if you pack your sheets, like I said, one of the things that's really important for all of the campers on this call is you have to be able to be an advocate for yourself in these sleeping situations specifically. So if you are too hot or too cold, make sure you are communicating that with your staff members so you can get extra blankets. Even if you didn't put them on the rental sheet, we'll get you blankets. That's not something we withhold from anyone for any reason. So please just make sure if you're not sleeping well, sleep is really important at camp. And so let's make sure you're sleeping at the right temperature, have the right clothes. We do sell some fun flannel pants in our camp store. So, and then Erica did ask about rental horseback riding boots. And I do think a lot of kids do rent the riding boots because, as we all know, we're always outgrowing shoes. So unless you happen to own your own boots, it is always kind of nice. Ours are already broken in. I can tell you a story about having to mow the lawn in riding boots in Wichita, Kansas, for most of my summer to get ready for camp, just to break my riding boots in, which you do not have to do. You can actually rent them and they're already broken in.
And we have,
Oh, you're going to go at Jenny, the packs?
yeah. Do you want to do it?
Sure. So there was two back-to-back questions that were really great in the chat about backpacks and day packs and the difference between the two. And so just a little bit of clarity on that is that the backpacks are backpacking backpacks for those overnight adventures and longer that we do at camp. And so we provide backpacks for those campers in the junior program. So you do not have to pack a backpacking backpack if you are a junior. And then if you are coming for the month-long program, we ask that you bring your own backpack. And then we do have rental backpacks available for those folks in the month-long program. And then a day pack is a kind of school backpack size. In fact, your school backpack would probably make a perfect day pack. And that is something that we ask every single camper and counselor to bring to camp. And your day pack is that backpack that you carry with you almost all the time. And in that day pack, you're packing your water bottle, you're packing your extra sunscreen, you're packing your rain jacket so that if an afternoon shower comes in, you're like, whoo, I'm ready. Let's keep having fun, right? And so your day pack is where you get to keep those personal items of yours that you want with you at all times, and you have them ready to go. So those are, it's nice if it's a like school backpack size versus like some of those small sequined cuter backpacks. Those are fun and don't fit all of the things you need for your day pack for an all-day adventure running around camp. Sometimes when you're going on an all-day adventure at camp, you pack your lunch inside that day pack because you're gone for the day. And so you have a sack lunch and you put that in your backpack as well as your water bottle and rain jacket and all of those other items. Awesome. Yes, Dobby, is there a limit to how many books you pack? Well, one thing that we have at both camps is we have a camp library as well. So we have lots of books on the shelves here. So you should talk with your parents, talk with your adults about how many books you think are a good idea to pack, as well as books are a great idea for those midsummer care packages as well. That makes a great, you write a letter home, just finished Percy Jackson book 4, please mail Percy Jackson book 5. But we also probably have a copy of Percy Jackson book 5 for you as well, Dobby. Awesome. In answer to, is there water in the cabins? The answer is at High Trails, yes. At High Trails, all of our cabins have those attached bathrooms that are in the cabin. And so all of the water that comes out of the spigots here at camp, any faucet you find is all good, clean, drinkable water. And so we fill up our water bottles in the cabin in the morning, but also we have water bottle filling stations at the lodge and other places around camp. And at Big Spring, it is very similar. If you're in a cabin that has attached bathrooms, there is drinkable water there. And then if you're in a tent or a yurt, you're a short walk to a wash house, which has access to that water as well. Sweet. And yes, yay for the library.
And for the hiking backpacks for Dahlia, really it depends on, the fit. I often will tell folks to go to, if you're interested in purchasing a hiking backpack, to go to your REI or your local outdoor store and just try on some different backpacks and talk about how many days you're looking at for your time frame. So, for some of our younger campers, we're looking at, the max number of days they would be out of camp would be 3. And so typically, because of how some of those trips work, they aren't heavy backpacking packs. So usually you can get away with a what would be considered a 1 to 2 day pack. And again, depending on the size of the person, it will be in that certain liter size, but it's not going to be like a 70 or 80 liter pack. It's going to be probably more in that 25 to 35, 40 liter pack, I think. That, don't quote me on that, but that's kind of normal. I know Zella and more cabins get renovated since last year. Not yet, but we did get that brand new health center at Big Spring. That was a big deal. So that's kind of a fun thing. Kate's asking about blankets you're supposed to bring at Big Spring. Bridger, you're doing the junior program, correct? 2 weeks? Or are you doing the month?
We're doing the month.
Okay, you're doing the month. Terrific. So you're going to want to bring, you can bring either those heavier wool blankets, just things that are going to be nice and warm for you. Like we said, because the tents are kind of airy, you're going to get more, you'll be cool in the evening time. So having some extra weight, some extra blankets might be nice. We have really good thick fleece blankets that we rent. So again, if you bring all the blankets you want to bring, and then you're like, still chilly, we can get you some more.
What about their sleeping bags? Would they just use your sleeping bags also?
They can, but when we use our sleeping bags, we want people to use them on those trips, because if you use them multiple times over the course of a month, our body oils and things will get in there and kind of, they actually impact the loft and the insulative properties. So we don't want them sleeping in those for the whole month.
We got all the blankets in the world again, to make everyone warm. And I saw a question about eating cupping utensils, and really, a lot of those like metal ones with the spoons and the forks are great, but at camp we also have these plates that buckle up into a bowl, which is also a great idea to purchase. And I know that everyone has a lot of questions, and and so I'm going to drop our email addresses, us four, in here. And we welcome any emails about this Zoom in the next couple of days. We'd be happy to chat, whether it be via email or via phone. It is time to kind of wrap this Zoom up. And we all just want to thank you so much for joining us tonight and for being here. And like Krista said before, Zoom is Zoom. We're all a little bit too used to it. We cannot wait to get that face-to-face interaction and to see the magic happen this summer. And so thank you all so much for coming tonight, and we look forward to seeing you here in a couple of months, and in the meantime, answering any questions that come our way.
Yep. And I'm happy to stay on for a sec and just answer those, the couple that we didn't hit. Rental items will be on what is called the additional options form, and we're going to make that live probably closer to May. We're going to send out another kind of folder about packing and all the things we talked about, and just how the pricing structure of all of those things look. It's very reasonable, and it's just more of a request thing. So even if you get to camp and you're like, oh, like I said about blankets, we don't have enough, no big deal. We will get people what they need at camp. So the rental form will be an additional options form that we'll make live a little bit later in the spring. Thanks, Annabelle. We're so glad that you all were here. Anybody else have burning questions? I know, Patricia, you can send me your last 2 questions that we didn't get answered. Bye, King family. Good to see you all.
It's so nice to see everyone.
So nice to see everybody.
Stay warm. We will see you all so soon.
So soon. We cannot wait.